On your feet! Get them going!
Of course, it always helps if I add myself to the stage. Excuse me. Clearly, I haven't talked for a minute. Welcome, everyone, to Cross Examinations Live, your daily Bible study. Not daily, weekdaily Bible study. It's still chunky. Gosh darn it. That's why I was late. I was like trying to close everything and reboot. I didn't reboot my whole computer, but apparently I should have. Am I chunky on your side too, or is it just my computer? Good day, chat. Good day, Mike. Good day, Einbrecht. Let me know if I'm chunky, because I might. This is driving me nuts. I might have to just jumpy. Yes. All right. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna switch. I don't know if I can do this. Can I switch to my phone while I reboot my computer? Is that even possible? It's very irritating. Like I literally terminated everything that was running on my channel in order to switch. Okay, enter studio. I'm going to reboot my computer right as soon as I do this. Leave studio. Leave. Hey, all right, okay. Here I am for cross exam. Hey, that actually works. I just don't like this angle on my face. Makes me look terrible. All right. Temporary, very temporary setup while I go ahead and reboot my doot. Okay. Oh, that's why my Adobe Premiere was not shutting down. That's why. All right, I'm gonna reboot anyways, just to clear my cache. I need a new computer. I have way too much. Oh my gosh, freaking close. Task manager not responding. That's why I hit end task. I do apologize. I should have had all of this stuff done prior to trying to launch a show, but I'm gonna reboot the computer just to make sure I don't have to deal with this a second time. Update and shut down. No update and shut down. Just restart. All right. Hi, everyone. Let's see who's here. Amy, Melissa, hello, Dark Admiral, Drake, Tungsten, Einbrecht, Grantish, Crosby. Did I miss anybody? Is anyone who's left a chat in the chat? Lady Celtic Moon. Hello, lady. DJ Peterson. I caught everybody, right? Is that everybody that's actually commenting? This is not working well. I need something to hold up the back of my phone. All right, there we go. Oh my gosh, restart anyways, this stupid thing. All right, Mike, it may not be in your control. Eastern hubs are out. Spectrum and AT&T are routing our internet through Midwest hubs and their internet through Western hubs. That's a lot of hubs. A lot of hubbing going on around here. But hopefully, I mean, my computer, I do have all solid state drives, so it should reboot relatively quickly. Do they even make not solid state drives anymore? I'm sure they do, right? But they are faster than the. Wait a second. Am I using solid state? It looks like a solid state drive. Doesn't look like it. It's a very small drive. Sorry for the dead air. All right, let's see if I can see it. That's not how computers be, Mike. They wait to be trouble. Wait? Are you trying to say want? Would they wait? Oh my gosh, I don't want to be backed up right now. Just restart my streaming computer. 5 minutes in. I like the pickle cover, you know. That means I don't want more backet. Oh my gosh, why is this giving me all these options when I'm freaking restarting my car? I don't want to confirm a subscription. Decline. Pay self. Oh my gosh, this never does all this crap. What the hell? Of course, it's when I'm trying to restart quickly that, like, for some reason, I'm getting all of these. At least one is redo your thing and restuff your stuff. All right, I've got one browser, opening up another tab. Let's get, oh my gosh, everything is trying to open at the same time. I'm sorry, how's everyone doing? I'm happy to report Elliot, his neighbors called him and told him that his house is not destroyed. So it seems like hopefully there's minimal damage there. So that's a blessing. StreamYard. Let's jump back in here. Am I getting freaking notifications again? Enter Studio. And I'm going to
me to the stage and remove me. Actually, I kind of like having la 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 la. I'm still chunky. I'm still freaking chunky. This is annoying. All right. You know what I can do? The audio is good on here. The video is good. No, I'm not going to do that. Should I? That'd be interesting. What if I had the video on here, but the audio on there? It looks like I'm in two different rooms now because of the green screen thing. Okay, I guess. Yeah, I'm all right. I'm gonna. Oh no, I almost hit the end button on this thing. How do I get out of the studio on my phone? Do I just leave? More.
Really?
Stream info, cancel, layout. Oh, I just back out. All right, cool. Easy peasy, Japanesey. All right, well, I guess Arlene was correct. It's not under my control. My computer's been completely rebooted, and I am still chunky on the video. So, what an incredible waste of time that was. I hope you're all doing well. Glad to see you here. Joe K is here. Doctor, I see mics. I'm seeing double. It was, yes, I was doubled. JDA is being bulldozed by GW. What's a GW? George W. Bush? GW. Computers are always a problem when you need them not to be. It's probably a Microsoft thing. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you're the expert, not me. Anyway, today, once again, we are doing The Rising Sun from the Grove Church. And, Games Workshop, the owners of War can't. Wait, what? JD is being bulldozed. No? Is something going on? Is something going on I am unawares of because I am not paying enough attention to the drama? That's been my experience. Yeah, I guess I'm sure you're right, dude. I'm sure you're right. Mike asked us if he looked chunky. I refused to answer in case he didn't mean the internet. Okay. 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 Thank you, Arlene, for being so thoughtful. Amy says, okay, I was hoping you had heard from her, Arlene, praying for her. Who? What? I can't scroll up for the whole conversation. If the bay weren't empty, Tampy would have been submerged. What? If the bay hadn't been empty,
I tap heads.
I don't know. I'm not aware of anything, but he has 40,000 subscribers. Oh, that's funny. Warhammer 40K. And he hit 40,000 subscribers today. Keep on grinding, John. Keep on grinding, Delarose. I had a Windows update. If you did too, that may be the problem. Oh, really? Yeah, because I didn't do the update. Maybe remember how Apple slowed down everybody's phones when they had the new update? Because they wanted everyone to get new phones. Tina has no power or internet. Oh, someone go get her so she doesn't miss the show. Liam and the Gay Boys have allegedly been reporting JDA to Games Workshop for infringement. I could see Liam doing that. and the Gay Boys. LOL at Apple. Yes, indeed. By the way, that Venom Ultramarine was cool. Maybe I will sculpt a miniature. Ooh, that'd be cool. Yeah, thank you. That video is actually not done well for me. Zero. It's got it. That video has created 0 net subscribers. People, I guess, who click on it because they like Warhammer 40K, didn't like my take on Warhammer 40K being Dune fan fiction. Even though a whole bunch of Warhammer 40K people admit that it's Dune fan fiction, they still get mad about it. EVS has made a truce with JDA. Yeah, I mean, I can't talk too much about that. Let's just say it wasn't JDA waving the white flag. I'm not allowed to say anything about EVS, apparently. LOL. What do you mean? You have freedom of speech, Drake. You can say whatever you want. What's up, Wrangler? Greetings, salutations, and stuff. Yes. I'm going to have to shut him down when we start reading actually the Bible today.
I'm playing glass. I can't see anything.
I thought you said it was Doom fan fiction, which I thought was really cool. No, Dune. Dune. And I don't want to. Sorry. I've been eating that beef jerky. Oh my gosh. So I wake up this morning. I made a bowl like this big, and it was almost filled to the top with beef jerky. Right. I wake up this morning. It's like halfway down. And, the top of the bowl is wider than the bottom of the bowl. So that's more than half of the beef jerky was eaten while I slept. My son, who I know was awake because this one went to sleep kind of early, pled the fifth.
When I'm flat and I'm playing glass. Maybe stop playing.
It takes 2 days to make beef jerky. The preparation, the staging, the cooking, the going out and checking it and all that stuff takes 2 days. At this rate, it's going to be gone by tomorrow. That's a lot of meat. By who? Yes. Well, I have no one who has volunteered to tell me they've eaten more than half of my beef jerky, but whatever. I'm sure it was EVS initiated. It had to be, right? Here's the thing: is like John is in a fantastic position. He's now got 40,000 subs. I would bet dollars to donuts he's at 50K by Christmas, and he is growing. And the other is not. So it is what it is. Einbrecht says it is Dune fan fiction. It's quite literally why I like 40K. It's essentially anime-fied in the sense of being made more exaggerated, etc. Dune, anime for Anglos, if you will. I remember, how old is 40K? Because I remember being a kid going to the hobby shop and seeing Warhammer 40K stuff. Oh man, they had the best. I can't even remember the name of it. There's a hobby shop in San Jose that is like the Walmart of hobby shops. Is either that or I was short and it just seemed. I just remember it as being huge. But man, this place was. I don't even remember what it was. It'll come to me during the stream. It'll be blank hobbies, something hobbies. Mice by Max? No, it was not Max. It was not Max. Max has been ill, so he's been very chill. He's been ill and chill and not he wouldn't be able to eat that much jerky. Sleep eating could explain the extra wideness. I'm gonna go ahead and ignore that comment. I thought it was Starship Troopers fan fiction, but Dune works. I think there's Starship Troopers in there too. I mean, there's Space Marines, right? I don't think there's Space Marines in Dune. I think they got that from, yeah. Your sleep eating jerky. Stop. 2 days to prep, 2 minutes to eat. Isn't that how most food is? Oh, I bet that's why he's chunky today. I would eat some beef jerky. I just did. Oh, but you don't eat donuts. That's a bad bet. Dollars to donuts. Well, that's true. 40K has been around a long time. Yeah, I remember it in the 90s. I remember in the 80s. 40K is from the mid 80s. Yeah, okay. See, I'm right. I do remember it from the 80s. Do you guys know that World of Warcraft was created and pitched to Games Workshop because they wanted to make a Warhammer 40K game? Did you guys know that? And Games Workshop turned them down. But they had already done all this work on it. And so they're like, okay, fine. We'll just do our own game. Ripping off your game. Except they changed it enough so that the litigious Dune fanfiction wouldn't sue the Nick Game Studio that created Warhammer. JDA should refrain from piggybacking Games Workshop IPs. They are really, really litigious. They don't own Space Marines. They don't. Big, bulky. Yeah. Look, I don't know enough about Warhammer to say how close the story is to Warhammer, but at the worst, you can say it's fan fiction. He wanted to do a Space Marine story based in his pre-existing universe. It's was it Ailerin? The Ailerin. It's that whole universe. He's got like a whole bunch of books in this universe already, and now he's putting Space Marines in this universe, and that's what the Emerald Array is. 1987. I was 6 when I saw the first models at a hobby shop my grandfather took me to. If I recall, we were there to get a race car model for my baby's first build. Yeah, we used to get models and RC cars and gosh darn it, I cannot think of the name of this hobby shop in San Jose. It's driving me nuts. He's not though, Joe K. He's piggybacking his own IP with Space Marines, which 40K doesn't own. Right. Looks like 40K came out in 87. Warhammer 40K is not Dune. It's not Dune, Jeff. It's Dune fan fiction. Warhammer was around in 1982 as fantasy, but it was intended to be a D&D miniature thing before becoming its own thing. See, that's what I remember. I remembered it being more fantasy than the Space Marine thing. When did the Space Marine thing come out? No, I didn't. And history was made. That's right. Our game, ripping off your game, ripping off another person's book. Yeah. All right. That cover with that armor and with the Aquila is enough. What is the Aquila? Big, bulky Space Marines are in a lot of IPs. I remember Unreal Tournament 20. I know. I mean, what is Halo? Halo's Space Marines, right? Everyone back it on Fund My Comic and get the Mike S. Miller cover. Yeah, it's doing pretty well on Fund My Comic. If somebody wants to drop the link, go ahead. The Space Marines, probably 1987. Yeah, so it was Warhammer, right? And then 40K is the Space Marines stuff, right? Warhammer, I remember being just the fantasy stuff. This is all I remember it from is looking at the games. I never played it. I saw the games and I saw the miniatures in blah 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 hobby. You know, I have to look it up. I can't. It's driving me nuts that I can't remember this hobby shop in San Jose. San Jose hobby shop. 10 best hobby shops. JJ Cuss. No. NorCal Hobbies. No. Oh my gosh. I hope it didn't get closed during the old shutdown. James Castle, NorCal Hobbies, Sheldon's Hobbies, Indiana, Creative Escape, Illusion, the Train Shop. No, none of these. Tap Plastics. That's not even a hobby shop. That's where I used to get my acrylic to make bongs. Though. I wasn't always a Christian. 88 Magic Tech. Oh my gosh, is it closed? Is it gone? No way. Dude, this was like the best hobby shop ever. I don't think it exists anymore. Oh my gosh, I'm like clicking through all the hobby shops in San Jose. I don't see it. Oh my gosh. Hey, they have one called Games Workshop. That's funny. Oh my gosh. It's gone. It's gone. Guys, the hobby shop of my childhood that I haven't been to in 40 years is gone. I can't believe it. Mike losing his childhood live. I know, right?
Really?
Lots of places fell victim to this shutdown. I know. I guess a hobby shop would be as likely because they have, especially in like San Jose, the
Oh, I love showering.
what do you call it? Like the rent has to be insane. San Jose is one of the most expensive places in the world to live. Really? All right. Wow, we have wasted 22 minutes blathering on about this nonsense. Let's get to the Bible, shall we?
Oh, we got time back.
Nonsense. Today is the 24th, sorry, the 10th, October 10th. Luke 8:40 to 56. Luke 8:40 to 56. So let's get to Luke chapter 8.
Oh my gosh, it's okay.
And then present a share screen.
All right, I'm just gonna call.
40 to 56. This is how live streams can just end up going on forever because you get to start talking to the chat and you just get in these conversations that just go on randomly and you start, your guys are throwing squirrels at me, I'm chasing squirrels of my own, and then we're just blah, 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 blah. And 23 minutes later, you're like, oh, this is a Bible study? The Emperor protects. All right, Bible time. Let's go. What?
Bye.
Where you going?
Work.
Oh, okay, bye. Don't take any more jerky. Isaac's got work. All right, 40 to 56, I believe, is the case. All right. All right, shall we? I'm gonna scroll on this, but I'm gonna look at this.
I'm gonna go glass.
All right. And it came to pass that when Jesus was returned, the people gladly received him, for they were all waiting for him. And behold, there came a man named Jairus, and he was a ruler of the synagogue, and he fell down at Jesus' feet and besought him that he would come to his house. For he had only one daughter. He had one only daughter. That's a weird way to say it. About 12 years of age, and she lay a-dying. But as he went, the people thronged him, and a woman having an issue of blood 12 years, which had spent all her living upon physicians, neither could be healed of any. It drives me nuts. I'm reading this, and all I'm picturing is my drawing of this in afar. Because I went through this, and this is, by the way, I don't mention it much, but this entire time, because this is based on the Synoptic Gospels, this whole study. That's why we keep jumping from book to book to gospel to gospel. And it's like every day I'm like, I drew this, I drew this, I drew this, and I'm just thinking about the way I drew it in the so funny. And came behind him and touched the border of his garment, and immediately her issue of blood stanched. This is actually interesting. I never noticed that. The border of his garment. So in you know how Jesus mocks the Pharisees because it says they like to make wide their phylacteries, and you're like, oh, that's interesting. What the heck's a phylactery? It's the border of their garment. So the border of your garment, I guess the edges, what would you call that in modern vernacular? The trim of your cloak, right? It's like for the Pharisees and for other people, that's where they would decor their garment, because they're not wearing paisley and plaid, right? The whole garment is generally one color, and then they would decor the borders, the trim of their garments to give themselves position or importance, right? To express their importance, they would decor the trim of their garments, make wide the borders of their phylacteries. That's sort of the thing. The hem. Is it a hem though? Is it a hem or a trim? I think it's a trim, but I don't know. And so it's just interesting that he mentions, because Jesus probably wouldn't. He probably would have just had plain border, right? But it's you know what it is? It's a symbol of authority, right? They would use it as a symbol of authority. They make wide their phylacteries. They want everyone to look at what they're wearing and think, oh my gosh, these people are important. She touched what's probably just, because he probably just wear a plain homespun. When it says his coat is without seam, so it was like homespun, and it was like, I don't know if it was knitted or whatever, but it was knitted without seam, so there wasn't like pieces of thing put together. So there was probably like no trim, no phylacteries, no border or anything. But that's where you would have the decor that showed your rank, your position, your importance. And he wouldn't have worn any of that, right? Because he's Jesus. He's very humble. So he would never, I can't imagine he would ever do that. But that's where she touches. She touches what would be his authority. I never noticed that before. Some versions specify hem, others don't. Wow, that makes sense. Amy says, interesting. See, this is what happens when you read through the Bible slowly, and you think about the rest of the Bible, I guess. Indeed. Came behind him, touched the border, excuse-moi, of his garment, and immediately her issue of blood stanched. And Jesus said, who touched me? When all denied, Peter and they that were with him said, Master, the multitude throng thee and press thee, and sayest thou, who touched me? And Jesus said, somebody hath touched me, for I perceive that virtue is gone out of me. I've always been curious about that phraseology. Virtue. You guys mind chasing a squirrel with me? I want to see what the word virtue means in Greek. We are in Luke.
I'm gonna lie.
What are we on? Luke what? Sorry, Luke 8:48. Let's just do Luke 8. And then 40. Virtue is gone out of me. Virtue, dynamis. Oh, is this dunamis? Dunamis, yeah, dunamis. This is where we get the word dynamite. This is power. This word means power, feminine noun. It means mighty power, mighty work, strength, miracle, might, virtue, mighty. Weird that it says virtue. But it's power. Power went out from him. Dunamis power. Specially miraculous power. By implication, a miracle itself. Ability, abundance, meaning, mighty, work of miracle, power, strength, violence, mighty, wonderful work. Okay. All right. So, yeah, virtue never clicked with me. I'm like, what do you mean virtue? What is virtue? But if it says power went out of me, miraculous power went out of me, that makes more sense. Right, Joe K? Virtue is arete. Arete? Is that how I'm pronouncing it? I've heard of dunamis. Dynamis means power. Hey, did you say that before me? No, you couldn't have because there's a 15-second lag. Yeah, I knew that from an old church I used to go to. This is wrong. The virtue, yeah, virtue is wrong, right? Dang it, King James Bible people. How dare you be wrong? You're not supposed to be wrong. Yeah. And when the woman saw that she was not hid, she came trembling and falling down before him. She declared unto him before all the people for what cause she had touched him, and how she was healed immediately. And he said unto her, Daughter, be of good comfort. Thy faith hath made you whole, thee whole. Go in peace. And while he yet spake, there cometh one from the ruler of the synagogue's house, saying to him, Thy daughter is dead. Trouble not the master. And he wept sore. King James Version, no longer inspired version. It is not a mess, Joe K. It's actually,
Oh my gosh, he's right in
it's
front of me.
mostly correct and mostly word for word. That's how I like it better, because it is word for word rather than thought for thought. I'm not a big thought for thought guy, although I appreciate the thought for thought concept. So, blah, blah, blah. But when Jesus heard it, he answered him, saying, Fear not, believe only, and she shall be made whole. And when he came into the house, he suffered no man to go in, save Peter and James and John, and the father and the mother of the maiden. In my strip, I literally have him kicking everybody out. And all wept and bewailed her, but he said, Weep not, she is not dead, but sleepeth. And they left him to scorn, knowing that she was dead. And he put them all out and took her by the hand. Oh, yeah, that's right. And took her by the hand and called, saying, Maid, arise. And her spirit came again, and she rose straightway, and he commanded to give her meat. Meat! Not vegetables, not herbs, meat. And her parents were astonished, but he charged them that they should tell no man what was done. Which, come on, they didn't do that. All right, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go here. I'm going to grab my Afar because it's driving me nuts. I love this scene in Afar. So I'm going to grab it. I'm going to show you guys. And then I'm going to lament that I still haven't gotten all of Afar up on Webtoons because I'm just too... Am I too busy, or am I just... I just keep forgetting. What I'll do is I'll get on here and I'll do like... I'll upload like 10 strips. Here we go. All right, this is that whole scene. Okay, this is the scene from where we started. I'll do like 10 strips. Here we go. I'll do like 10 strips and I'll upload them, and then I'll be like, all right, I'll get back to this next week. And then like 3 weeks later, I'm like, I haven't done it. Because it takes time to like, I have to transfer these to be like vertical strips and upload them to Webtoon. And it's up there. It's Afar, the Adore Bible on Webtoon, if you want to see how far I've gotten. Lucifer, every episode you come in and say rapture soon. I'm Brexit. Speaking of Greek, they're translating the Codex Sinaiticus into English, the oldest known Bible. I'm curious to read it once it's finished. Why don't you just read it from the Greek? Go to Blue Letter Bible. You're doing your best, Mike. We appreciate you. I'm sure God does too. Yeah, but I want to do. I still believe Afar has a greater audience. So here he is. You know, somebody touched him. They say, "Oh, what do you mean? Look at all these people. They all touched you." And he said, "One person touched me." And then she kneels down and says, "I'm unclean." And they all go, "She's unclean." And he picks her up, but he touches her, right? You're not supposed to touch the unclean. But Jesus makes everything clean. And then, "Hey, don't bother your master. Don't bother the master. Your daughter's dead." And he wails. And Jesus says, "Chill out. She's just sleeping." And they go to his house. And he says, "She's just sleeping." And they laugh him to scorn. And then he kicks everybody out. And then heals their daughter. Wake up, wakey, wakey. That's it. All right, next is the Beatitudes for a far so.
Not with your mice.
Anyways, let's get back to the book. All right. Again, that's Afar on Webtoons if you want to check it out. I think I'm up to like 50 strips on there, something like that. I'm not even sure. Hey, the internet's working better. Slightly. It's not making me look any better, but sorry. I wonder if there's a filter I can put on here to make me look better. All right. Get needy. You know what? I'm going to put my glasses on. Oh, more scrolls and knowledge of language have been gained, but that doesn't make the King James Version uninspired. God can speak to us through any of them. Actually, he can speak to us through anything he chooses. Well, I just like the King James Version. I like how it reads. I love the Old English. And I like that it's word for word, not thought for thought. And I like that we know what all the problems are. No, there's no perfect translation. You can't perfectly translate Greek or Hebrew into English. It's the limitations of our language.
So we're just walking past the drones. And
I love it. I love it. I don't like the new not inspired version. I don't like. It doesn't matter. They all have their place. I just prefer the King James. Anyways, get needy. Have you ever been desperate? What time is it? 38 minutes. Jeez, I'm just getting to this now. Have you ever been desperate? What were you desperate for? Desperation is one of the most primal dispositions we can experience as humans. Nobody has to learn the art of being desperate. It is innately instilled in all of us. Something I've come to notice about God is that he often uses our desperation as a catalyst for deeper relationship because it burns away all the riffraff and draws our focus to what truly matters. The problem is, I hate feeling desperate. I hate knowing that I'm helpless to solve my great need. You know the saying, beggars can't be choosers. This statement is never more true than when we encounter Jesus. Throughout Jesus' ministry, we see people constantly encountering him, but missing his mission. Despite encountering the God of the universe, who was performing miracles right in front of their faces, they still walked away unchanged. What separates those who miss Jesus and those who follow him? You've probably guessed it by now. Desperation. Let's take a look at two desperate people in this passage. First, we learn about a woman who had suffered a chronic flow of blood for 12 years. Some important context we need in order to understand the true depth of her suffering requires us to go back to Leviticus 15:19. According to Mosaic law, anyone who came into contact with this woman would be considered unclean for the rest of the day. She wasn't just lonely and isolated. She was societally liable. She was a societal liability. Nobody could go near her ever. Few people in this life will understand the desperation like this woman did. But that desperation is what led her to have great faith. Second, we encounter a father whose daughter is dying. My stomach can't even bear to imagine that. Talk about desperation. He needs Jesus. He needs a miracle. He is willing to risk his entire career based on his hope in Jesus. He was high up in the synagogue, but the religious leaders didn't take too kindly to Jesus' ministry. Yet Jairus, like any good father, pushed all that aside as a result of his genuine faith. He had a need, he recognized that need, and he had faith that Jesus could meet his need. His desperation resulted in a relationship with Jesus. Turns out that desperation was the biggest gift he and his family could ever have imagined. What if a key difference between knowing Jesus and rejecting Jesus is recognizing you need him? Jesus once saw a group of kids and made a bold statement in Matthew 18:3. He says, "Truly, I tell you, unless you change and become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven." Not inspired version. If you have kids, you know that kids are needy. They constantly require time, attention, and lots of money. The younger you are, the more you need your parents. Have you outgrown your need for Jesus, or are you still desperate for him? I'm desperate. So desperate. All right, question number 1. What is the biggest need in your life? Are you allowing God to work through that need? I got a wedding to pay for. I do desperately need that to be fulfilled quickly. I mean, my need is really a desire. I mean, you guys all know my vision. And I just want, maybe that's a want more than a need. I just trust that God takes care of my needs. So I've been through this enough times of desperation that like I could have the sword of Damocles swinging over my neck, and I'm like, God will take care of it. That's not to brag that I like having the sword of Damocles swinging over my neck, but I hold on to the miracles before, and I do trust that whatever happens, what's the worst that could happen? That's kind of a weird. I try not to worry. I do worry. It's I don't know if it's impossible not to worry. But I haven't reached such a state of faith that I never worry. I mean, I'm upfront, but this is how I try to handle things, and I do my best to leave needs in God's hands, and then, pray the opportunities that I get are the right ones, and that I have the wisdom to take the right ones and to leave the wrong ones. I need wisdom, I guess. Basically, that's my best way to say it. I need wisdom. How long did it take you to think of something from the question above? I don't know. I could rewind and find out. What does that say about your dependence on God? Oh, I'm fully dependent on God. Why is it so difficult to be childlike in our trust in God? Because we're old and jaded and we've gone through life. And as we grow independent, we try to take responsibility for independence, and we lay, as our responsibilities shift from our parents to us, and then to us as parents, the responsibility toll gets more expensive, right? And as a child, you have innate trust until that trust is destroyed by if you have a bad parent, or you go through a divorce, or you discover that your parents have been lying to you your entire life, and they tell you, you find out Santa Claus isn't real, and then so you have so much faith in your parents that you will believe a fat man will come through the chimney in the middle of the night to every house on earth because they tell you so. That's why I never taught my kids that about Santa Claus. I told them he was a real person. I told him he's a historical person, and I told them the truth about it, and I told them about the traditions and stuff. But Me learning that Santa Claus was a lie or that Santa Claus wasn't real is one of my earliest memories because it was such a psychological trauma to me that, and I wouldn't have put that together. I would obviously as a child, you're like, what I'm upset about is that Santa Claus isn't real. But what you're actually upset about is that the people you trust most in life lied to you. That's why that's such a psychological trauma. The trauma isn't that some fat guy doesn't actually break into your house at night and leave presents, right? It's that the people you trusted most in your life have been fooling you every year, lying to you every year. That's why every single one of us who believed in Santa Claus, you can remember the exact moment that you discovered he wasn't real, right? That's faith like a child, that you will believe such a ridiculous lie because your parents told you so. And that's why I never did it to my kids. If nothing else, it's a good lesson that people are fallible, God is not. I just grasped that. I had that understanding when I had kids. I'm like, I'm not going to do that to my kids. That's a terrible, terrible thing to do. So I told it, and I told them not to ruin it for the other kids at school either, but and we still had the tradition aspect of the whole thing. So you don't lose anything by not lying to them. It's like, oh, let them believe in magic. It's like, you mean let them believe in a lie? This is what you're literally saying. And then at some point, when you realize, here's the thing, man, I got a nephew. He was a perfectly happy little kid, 12 years old. And then at 12, he was told the truth that his father, who raised him, was not his actual father. That my brother-in-law is his real father. And when you're 12 years old, that's one thing. It's, oh, Santa Claus. Santa Claus is the lie that your parents have been telling you your whole life. When the lie is the fundamental foundation of your family, and you have been lying this entire time, knowingly, his relationships, I don't know, man, it sent him off his entire rest of his life on a bad trajectory. I hope he's better today. He used to live with me, so yeah, 12 would be the worst possible time. It's not a great time to learn that lesson. It reminds me, you guys ever watched the movie Soap? Or is it Soap Dish? No. It's the one with Kevin Kline and what's her name played? Gidget? Sally Field. Well, in that, it's the same situation, except her grown-up daughter finds out when she's like 20-something years old that her aunt is actually her mom, and that Kevin Kline, Soap Dish, and that Kevin Kline is her dad. And she just goes from loving her mom, her aunt mom, to just freaking despising her. That's trust, right? That's sorry. This all comes from why is it so difficult to be childlike in our trust for God? Because by the time we are my age, so many people have lied to us. We don't live in a world where everything that we're told by the people in our authority has been the truth. And so we become jaded and more jaded and more jaded and more jaded. Right? So that's why we lose that ability, the innate ability to just trust completely in those who are supposed to love us gets crushed, because over time we discover what people are really like. But God's not people. God is God. So that is my answer to that. I hope it wasn't too What's depressing? Exposure to deception. Yes. Yeah. All right, daily prayer. Lord, instill in me a childlike dependence on you. Shift my perspective towards the need in my life that I might see you working through them. I trust you, God. Amen. Amen. Honestly, I don't know how, like, say you're a parent and you've already gone through your like 4 or 5 years into this deception with Santa Claus with your kids. How you can, because if they just find out the truth, it's a lie. It's just such a clear cut moment in time where you're like, you, my beloved parent who I've trusted with absolute 100% certainty, have been lying to me. There's probably a way. Okay, so the way I always approached it was that Santa Claus was based on a real life person. Obviously, that real life person is long dead. He doesn't actually live at the North Pole. So if you could find a way, if you're in this situation, and you can find a way to slowly steer the myth back to the truth without it being such an abrupt, everything I've been telling you every year of your life is a deception. Right? Don't be like, it's time to tell them the truth. Just sort of, explain that, yes, Santa is real. I've never lied to you about Santa being real. Santa is real. He's not still alive. You know what? I honestly don't know how you'd steer that conversation. Santa is real. There's a lot of things said about him that is untrue. Yeah. But find a way to incrementally explain that the legend of Santa Claus lives on, but the original person of Saint Claus is dead, or Saint Christopher. Yeah, I don't know. I'll let you guys figure that out. I don't have that problem because I never lied to my kids. It didn't bother me when I found out. Drake, do you remember the moment that you found out? Santa was invented by Coca-Cola Kid. I don't know if he was invented or usurped, but Saint Nicholas, Saint Christopher, you do remember. So how old were you? Is it one of your earliest memories? I robbed my children of the Santa myth. What's up, student OG? Student of God. It's nap time. Yeah, it is late here too. I think I was 9. So pretty early memory. I was 5 or 6. My brother told me. And I ran into my parents' room crying, saying, Tom said that Santa's not real. And they're like, Tom. They got mad at him for exposing them as liars. Explain how the gift dowries to the poor maidens led to the tradition of putting gifts in stockings. Yeah, you can explain all the reality. Explain it, explore it, make it, and then say like people keep the tradition alive. Santa as a tradition is alive, and we've been giving you this tradition, but we just want to let you know the truth. I mean, don't phrase it like that as if you've been lying to them. Phrase it in a way where you still want to maintain the traditions. I don't really know. Yeah, the whole red costume, etc. thing is a Coca-Cola. Yeah, yes. Saint Basil. Now, you know what? I think there's probably multiple different historical figures that were kind of mishmashed up into it, because I always went with was the Saint. I think the Saint Nicholas I think I went with the Saint Nicholas one. But anyways, I'll let you guys do your own research and come up with your own explanations. I don't know how many of you have kids in that age range where you're still lying to them every year, but don't. You want your kids to grow up trusting you. Lying to them is not the way to do it. All right. I remember when my parents told me I wouldn't spoil it for my siblings, but I was floored. Honestly, I think it hurt them equally probably because of my shock at the news. Right. Because you were being lied to. We won't. Have a blessed afternoon. Yes. God bless us, everyone. Have a great rest of your day. And tomorrow, Friday. I got a lot of work to catch up on. God bless you all. We'll see you on the next exciting episode of Cross Examination.
Back in line, you dog! On your feet! Get them going!